So one of the major deities in the by the book tradition of Foxmore is Aradia. So we have a paragraph to read about Aradia in the teaching book. Aradia herself is the result of the mating of the goddess Diana with the sun god Lucifer. And it was her mission to found the witch cult on earth. And in quotes, it says, and it came to pass that Diana, after her daughter had accomplished her mission or spent her time on earth among the living mortals, recalled her and gave her the powers that when she had been invoked, having done some good deed, she gave her the power to gratify those who had conjured her by granting her or him success in love. Also, the powers or the gifts of Aradia to bless or curse friends or enemies, which is to do good or evil, to converse with spirits, to find treasures in ancient ruins, and to conjure the spirits of the priests who did leave the treasures, to understand the voice of the wind, to change water into wine, to divine with cards, to know the secrets of the hand or palmistry, to cure disease, to make those ugly beautiful, to tame wild beasts. And there is an invocation to Aradia, which will be given in a later class.
Cool.
Aradia,
You have the invocation to Aradia
somewhere.
somewhere.
It's not a later class yet, so I figured.
I'm not sure if I have the invocation. As sort of counterpart to the goddess, there is the Sabbatic goat, which is like if you want to think of it, an aspect of the god. The goat of the mysteries. This is the god of the witches, but it is not Satan. The true witch does not believe in Satan. Satanism is a cult of its own, and has no association with witchcraft. It is true that there are so-called black witches, but this title is given to them because they practice black magic. Witches do not worship the image known as the god of the witches. They worship that for which it stands or symbolizes. To the witch, it is a most sacred symbol. It is also called the goat of Mendes. His horns represent the waxing and the waning moon. The center horn or torch symbolizes the magical light of universal intelligence. The god power always available to man when man learns how to use it. The head is that of a goat, symbolizing much the same thing as the sacrificial goat of the Bible. Here, however, it also acts as a reminder that man must make certain sacrifices before he can achieve complete illumination or at-one-ment. The goat is bearded, symbolic of the grand old man of the Kabbalists. It also represents agelessness and timelessness. The pentagram on the forehead is a symbol of light, also represents the Kabbalistic tree of life. It is a sacred symbol and a most powerful talisman. When the pentagram symbolism is reversed, so that 2 points are up, it becomes a symbol of infernal evocations, as it would be evil incarnate, but the true witch would not turn such a sacred pentagram so profaned. Um, so, separating us from Gardnerians that may use the reverse pentagram as a symbol of the second degree, or I think. Anyway, so some people will say that the inverted pentagram is earthly oriented towards the sacredness of the earth rather than evil. The upright pentagram with point up would be associated with enlightenment, control of one's environment, maybe aspiration to a higher consciousness. But in our tradition, it was not really used. Usually it was referred to in quite negative connotation.
And
Um,
from a practical standpoint, the bad press around a reverse pentacle or pentagram
yeah,
is unsurmountable pretty much at this point.
yeah, I think maybe, maybe there's a let's cut our ties. But certainly some witchcraft traditions use it in a positive manner,
Mhm.
not unlike the cross of St. Peter's. The cross of St. Peter is looks like upside down cross. St. Peter was crucified upside down. This was so it is sacred to him, not a symbol of the devil. It depends on what the person sees in that symbol rather than what the symbol is in of itself. So it's
Exactly.
always what is represented. If you are ever curious, you should always ask, what does this symbol represent to you? That is probably a good way to approach it in today's world. So Eliphas Levi wrote in turn of the century, late 1800s, the turn of that other century,
That other century.
that other century. So late 1800s. So Levi would be maybe a little bit difficult to read now, as like Rider Waite is a little bit difficult to read now. Language evolves, it just changes over time. Also, social conventions change. So if you read Levi or if you read Waite and they start talking about the rights of women or something like that, then you'll know you're in very strange territory, as these views will not match today's views.
Yes.
This is Eliphas Levi's symbol, which you can find, you can Google. Very important parts of the symbol are the womb, um, the caduceus. Snakes appear on many of our iconography we consider sacred.
Yes.
So going all the way back to Crete, and people would always talk about, the Minoan society. Forgive me that I don't know her name, because she was called Lady with Snakes, and
Yes.
she holds snakes in her hands, in both hands.
We'll find an image of that.
And when I was in my 20s and 30s, they didn't have a name for her, and now they've settled on her name, which unfortunately I cannot invoke at this time. But I would hate to do it incorrectly. I hate to be wrong, and sometimes you read or hear information which may not be correct. But the snake is considered a sacred symbol. Why? It sheds its skin. That which can cure can kill. So the venom was considered representing of a powerful medicine. That which can cure can kill. And we have that in our tradition from ancient times, but it's also today. We know that today, like things that, don't take too much. Follow your prescription, follow your pharmacy's advice, or at least look it up. The torch I always saw is two things. I saw always is the light of Prometheus, as Prometheus bringing fire to the getting in trouble for it too.
Yes.
But that is like a god of light, right? A champion of man, not someone that was, championing Zeus's word or God's word, right? Also, Eureka, that Eureka moment, the light bulb moment, when we become, possessed with inspiration. Wings, feathered wings, air, cloven hooves, earth, half covered, half unknowable, half revealed, like Kether in the Kabbalah, who sits atop the very top, who uh, is a god or a thought form in profile, which is um, not completely knowable, but we can aspire to. It's like you can't know everything, but you can still aspire to learn as much as you can. So you have the elements, you have the scales, you have water, air, earth, fire, and man is a uh, and we say man here, but this is also half female, has the womb, has the breasts, right? Has the rod of Caduceus, has the masculine, right? So, and everyone thinks Baphomet is a guy. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Because there's breasts and there's a womb there. So are you sure? So
I also want to note here
yeah.
a couple etymology things. You know, I'm a
Yes.
total nerd for that. Um, we use the word man, but that actually, and now it means man or as opposed to woman, but it came from the Latin root man that actually meant hand
Right.
as the distinguishing feature of, you know, the opposable thumb and the hand. And
Right.
um, originally it was not loaded like it is now. Also, if you look at the image, you will see that on the right hand it says solve,
Yes.
and on the left hand it says coagula.
Yes.
So salve actually in Latin essentially means to break apart, and
Yeah.
then um, coagula, like blood coagulates, it's to put together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, wait,
A solvent and a coagulant.
mhm,
That's the kind of easy words that we still use to mean those things.
yes.
To break apart, to put back together. Inductive, deductive. The more you look, the more you see.
Mhm.
So, and I think we'll always find that in a lot of those old symbols. As the gates of the mysteries, you may find yourself challenged, right? Just if you were to enter a magical circle, you might find yourself challenged. There's no learning which doesn't transform you, which hopefully you're ready for. There is one more. It's a great symbol of Solomon. Levi had a dualistic view of the cosmos. All manifestations from steam trains to lover sighs, from the phenomenon of the physical laboratory to those of the seance room, were Elila of the Lord, an eternal game whose elements were the outcome of the interplay between the polarities, light and dark, mind and matter, good and evil, objectivity and subjectivity. He symbolized this conception in this strangely anthropomorphic version of the Seal of Solomon, the hexagram with which, according to Jewish legend, Solomon controlled legions of demons. The great symbol of Solomon engraving from Eliphas Levi's Transcendental Magic. So, little bits, you get the light and the dark, you get the yin and the yang, you has as above, so below. You have the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, again, more snake symbolism. You have the elements right in there as well. Sort of a light and a dark. Um, a reminder of choices that we make to do good or to do evil. As a side note, Sterling just sometimes I'll say I don't believe in evil. And people are like, how do you explain that? There's bad people. They do evil things. I'm like, I think there's ignorance and I think there's, enlightenment. And those are the two. So in that thought, we're all connected. As above, so below. We're all connected. So to hurt somebody else is to hurt yourself. To hurt yourself is to hurt somebody else. Anyway, that's the very light version, and I don't want to preamble along too much. So, but I think next week we'll talk maybe a little bit about gods and goddesses. Sometimes we look at the whole view of the god and the goddess, and sometimes we'll break them into little pieces so we can understand the whole better. So we might talk about a few ancient deities and sort of their aspects, if you will.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.